be dismantling everything that has to do with vectors, especially the calculations on vectors. So now stick with me. Now let's move. So now before you solve questions on vectors, these are the basic things you need to know. It's not complex. I will simplify them, trust me. So now from case 1, I said that vectors acting in the same direction, that's if two forces are acting in the same direction, it means that theta is equal to what? To 0, because they are parallel to each other, right? Exactly. The angle between the two forces is what? Is 0. Now to get the resultant force, now what is resultant force? Resultant force can be defined as the single force that can be used to represent two or more forces. It's just like the effective force that is acting on the body. I hope you understand. Exactly. So now in this case, I have F1 and I have F2. F1 and F2. In order for us to calculate the resultant force, since they are acting in the same direction, just like I have a body now. If someone is dragging it here, that person is dragging it here, the total force or the effective force acting on the body is what? My own force plus the second person's force. That's going to be what? F1 plus F2. So now when theta is equals to 0, but the two forces are acting in the same direction, you sum up the forces to get what? The resultant. Hope that is clear. So now NB, nota bene, take note of this. The resultant force experienced by a body when the forces are acting in the same direction, that's when theta is equal to 0, is maximum. Now, anytime two forces are acting in the same direction, or the angle between two forces acting on a body is 0, you should take note that that is the maximum. The resultant force that is gotten at that point is said to be at maximum. Why? Because I'm summing the forces up the graph. Exactly. So now in case 2, I have that vectors acting in opposite direction. Now when two things are acting in opposite direction, it means that the angle between the two forces is 180 degrees. So I have a body here. This is a body. I have F1 acting in this direction, F2 is acting in this other direction. How will I get the resultant force? Now I'm going to give you an illustration. I'm standing now. Someone is dragging me here. Another person is dragging me here. Now, which direction am I going to move to? I'm going to move to the direction of the person applying more force to me, right? And this one here is going to reduce the force that this one is applying on me. So for example, now if this person that is dragging me with this hand is dragging me with 20 Newton, right? At least I will move as if someone is pushing me with 20 Newton, but if someone apply a force of 10 Newton on this hand, so 20 Newton, 10 Newton, this 10 Newton here is going to kind of reduce the force on this one. So now I'm not going to have 20 minus 10. That's going to be 10 Newton. I will now move towards this direction as if the force acting on me in this direction is 10 Newton, because this 10 Newton has removed 10 Newton from this 20 Newton. How to graph? Exactly. So now when they are acting in opposite direction, you should subtract them, right? So the resultant force in this case is going to be F1 minus F2. That's if F1 is greater than F2. But if F2 is greater, it's going to be F2 minus F1. I hope you grab it. Exactly. So I say that the resultant force experienced by a body when forces act in opposite direction is minimum. So now in this case, anytime two forces act on a body and they're in opposite direction, just know that the resultant force is minimum. But if it is in the same direction, the resultant force is maximum. Take note of that. It's very, very important. The jam question. Now let's move to case 3. Let's move to case 3. So I said that vectors acting at right angle to each other. Vectors acting at right angle to each other. Now when we say that something is acting in right angle to each other, it means that the angle between the two forces is 90 degrees, or they are perpendicular to each other. Say the same English. So I have F1, I have F2. This is the resultant force. Now when this happens, we'll apply Pythagoras theorem. So I have F1, I have F2. Now I want you to take note of this. This is F1, this is F2. This is the resultant force, always at the middle. Now, so if here is F1, it means that if here is F1, this side opposite is F1. If here is F2, this side opposite is F2. I want to show you why I'm applying Pythagoras theorem, right? So now I have F1, F1, F2, F2, right? So now if I say that this side is my theta, right? If I see this side is my theta, it means that here is what is opposite, right? If here is opposite, this one is what hypotenuse. If here is hypotenuse, it means that this side is not what adjacent. So now I'm trying to break things down. So and according to what Pythagoras theorem, we have that hypotenuse square is equal to what opposite square plus what plus adjacent square, right? Exactly. So I'm going to have r square is equal to what f1 square, that's the opposite, plus what f2 square. F2 square is what is the adjacent. I hope you grab. Exactly. So now if I decide to bring this square over, it's changed to square, so I'm going to have r is equal to square root of f1 square plus f2 square. So now this is the formula if the vectors are acting what at right angle or perpendicularly or at 90 degrees what to each other. Sharp. Now I also said some stuff here. I said that for vectors at right angle, the Pythagorean triplet can be useful when vectors are in right angle and you are in your exam hall. For example, now if you are writing down and you are in your exam hall and they tell you that f1 is 3 Newton and they tell you that f2 is 4 Newton, then they ask you to calculate the resultant force. You don't need to think. As long as you've known your Pythagoras triplet, you don't need to solve. Just know that the answer is 3. If they tell you that two forces acting perpendicular to each other, one of the force is 4 Newton, another one is 3 Newton. Calculate the resultant. The answer is 5. So just try to carry all these things in your head. They are called the Pythagoras triplet. They go hand in hand. So I have 3, 4, 5, 5, 12, 13. If f1 is 5, if f2 is 12, it means that the resultant is 13. We have 7, 24, 25, 8, 15, 17. We have 9, 12, 15, and also 10, 24, 20. So once you know this, you are good to go. You have to understand exactly. So now, I also said something here. We'll still solve questions. These are just kind of, I'm trying to explain some stuff first before I move to the main stuff. So I also said here that if f1 and f2, if f1 is equal to f2, so in this case now, let's say, so in this case now, if I say that f1 is equal to f2, that's if f1 is equal to f2, so I can say that r in this case, r is equal to square root of f square plus f square. Since f1 and f2 are equal, I should just say that f1 is equal to f2, right? So I can just represent the two of them as f. Since the two of them are equal, I just replace, I don't want to differentiate them since the two of them are equal. I just use f to represent the two of them. So I'm going to have r is equal to square root of f square plus f square. So f square plus f square is what? Is 2f square. A plus a is what? 2a. Abi? Exactly. So f square plus f square is 2f square. So now square root of 2f square. So square root of 2 is, it cannot go. Abi? Square root of f square is f square root of, for example, if I have square root of f square, square root cancel square. So I'm going to have f. So now if the answer to this is what? R is equal to what? F square root of 2. So now anytime they tell you that two forces are acting at a right angle to each other, and the two forces are equal, that's half 10 Newton or 10 Newton, that's to calculate the resultant force. You can use this formula, right? You get your answer. But if you don't want to use this formula, you will not remember, you can still use this formula, you will get your answer. Now let's get straight to business. So now let's continue from where we stop. We stop at case 3. Let's continue from case 4. So I said that when two forces act on a body at an angle below 90 degrees, that means theta in this case is less than 90 degrees. That's, I can say 30 degrees. Any angle that is less than 90 degrees. Now this is the formula you use. You apply cosine rule. I got this formula from what? For cosine. Now I would have derived how I got it for you, but to take a lot of our time, and I will explain it in the main class. Don't worry. So r is equals to square root of f1 square plus f2 square plus 2f1 f2 cos theta. Just relax. You see that is too much, just calm down. I will still solve questions, a lot of questions. I will apply all these formulas, and then you'll see that it's not a big deal. Now if you've been watching this, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Like, subscribe and share to your friends and your loved ones. Now let's continue. Then this formula, everything was gotten from what? Parallelogram law of forces. Parallelogram law of forces. So now this states that when two forces are acting on a body and they are used to represent the adjacent side of a parallelogram, then the diagonal of the parallelogram gives the resultant force. So that's, see, all the ingredients say, this is just the formula you will use. I hope you grab. So now let's talk about resolution of vectors, how to resolve vectors, right? So now I have fy and fx. As you can see, this fy represents what the vertical axis, fx represents what horizontal axis of the force, while f here is the resultant force. So now let's resolve the force. As usual, as I've taught you in the past, if here is fy, it means that this side too is fy. Right? If here is fx, it means that this side too is fx. Opposite, and this will be the angle, right? So now if this is the angle, I want to do something simple here. So if this is the angle, now let's not forget socatoire. Let's not forget socatoire. Now, what is socatoire then? It means that sin theta is equal to what? Opposite over hypotenuse. Cos theta is equal to what? Adjacent over what? Hypotenuse. So now I can see that cos theta is equal to what? Adjacent over what? Hypotenuse. Now in this case, our adjacent, this is our opposite and this is our adjacent, right? The side facing the angle is the opposite. The longest side or the slant side is the what? Is the hypotenuse, and the side that is joining the angle and the side for 90 degrees is what? Is the adjacent. So now in this case, fy is the what? In this case, fy is the opposite, while fx is what? Is the adjacent, right? So now I said that cos theta is equal to what? Adjacent over hypotenuse. So we said it's adjacent, that's fx. So fx over what? Hypotenuse is what? F, right? F. So I'm going to have cos theta is equal to what? Fx over f. If I multiply, I'm going to have that fx is equal to f cos theta. So now if they ask you to calculate the force along the x-axis or the force along the vertical axis, it's the same thing. You use this formula f cos theta. Now, if they ask you to calculate the force along the y-axis, I should derive the formula. I'm going to have sin theta is equal to what? Opposite over hypotenuse. Sin theta is equal to what? Opposite over hypotenuse. Where opposite here, in this case, is what? Fy over hypotenuse is what? F. So I'm going to have fy over what? F. I cross multiply. I'm going to have fy is equal to what? F sin theta. So now this is the formula for getting the force along the vertical axis, that's along y-axis. We'll still solve questions, just show. This is just the last aspect of my explanation, then we'll move towards question. So now, obtaining resultant force from multiple forces. Now let me explain how to obtain resultant force from multiple forces. That's the step, and then I solve questions real quick. So now, step 1 says that resolve all the forces horizontally and calculate the sum of the resolved forces along the horizontal. So now, first resolve the force. If you want to calculate the resultant force of multiple forces, for example, if I have a point here, another force is acting like this, another one is acting like this, exactly. To calculate the resultant force, first resolve all the forces to the horizontal and sum them up. That's this ES stands for the summation EFS of x, right? So the summation of what? Fx, that's the summation of the force along the horizontal axis, right? Exactly. So now 2 says that resolve all the forces vertically and then you calculate the sum. Still the same thing. Calculate the force to the vertical and sum it up. So I'm going to have what? EFS of y, that's the summation of what? Fy of the force along the vertical axis. And then after you do that, if you now want to obtain the magnitude of the resultant force, you use this formula. Resultant force is equal to square root of EF of x squared plus EF of y squared. Now if you can remember, I gave you a formula that r is equals to f1 square plus f2 square. You can remember. So now I just replace f1 with ef of x and f2 which was ef of y square. Exactly. So now to obtain the direction, their direction, that's the angle. Theta, you use formula theta is equals to tan inverse of ef of y over summation of ef of x, right? Exactly. Don't worry. Let's solve questions. I'm done with all the explanation, all the talk. Now let's get down to business. If you've been following so far, make sure you like and subscribe and also share this our topic with your friends. Now let's get down to business. That's question 1. For question 1, we have that four coplanar forces of magnitude 10 Newton, 17 Newton, 6 Newton and 20 Newton act at a point O as shown in the diagram below. So I have this diagram here. I have 10 Newton acting upward, 6 Newton acting downward, 20 Newton acting this way, and 17 Newton acting this way, right? And this is the point O, that's at the center. Then they ask us to calculate to determine the magnitude of the resultant force. Now, this is actually something simple. In your exam, you see, you shake that moment. This question, it carry weight. No, it did not carry any weight. It is weightless, right? So now let's solve this question. So now, as you can see, the first thing you have to notice is that these two forces are acting in opposite direction. These two forces are acting in opposite direction. And I told you, the second case I told you is that I told you that if two forces are acting in opposite direction, the thing you do is what? To subtract them. Right? So now, in the vertical axis, in this side, I have what? 10 Newton minus what? Minus 6 Newton. And that will give us what? 4 Newton. Right? In the horizontal axis, I have what? 20 Newton minus 17 Newton, and that will give us what? 3 Newton, right? Exactly. So now, something is dragging, like now, a force is dragging this side upward of 10 Newton, and now it's dragging 6 Newton. So now, the remaining forces will act upward because 10 is bigger than 6, right? So I'm going to have what? 4 Newton acting upward, right? I'll be grab. So in this case, I will have what? 3 Newton acting this way. 20 minus 7, that's 3. 3 Newton will act this way. I've explained this, right? So I'm going to have something like this. Another something like this. See, 4 Newton. I have something like this. This one for 3 Newton. 3 Newton. Now that's also what to calculate the resultant force. Now if you can remember, I have 3 Newton force. If you can remember the Pythagoras triplet I gave to you, I gave you 3, 4, 5. So I told you that if the first force is 3, the second force is 4, then your resultant is what? 5. So in case you don't want to solve, just know that your answer is what? 5. But let's solve it. Let's solve it. So now this F1, this is what? F2, right? From Pythagorean triplet, I have that hypotenuse square is equals to opposite square plus what? Plus adjacent square, right? So I can say that r square is equals to 4 square plus what? Plus 3 square, right? So that's going to be r square is equals to 16 plus 9. That's going to be r square is equals to 25. I bring this square over by substituting r is equals to square root of 25. That's what? 5 Newton. Hope you understand. So as you can see, 5 Newton. So in your exam, if you know the Pythagorean triplet, you don't have to undergo all this stress. You've gotten your answer straight. 5. Hope you go up. Now let's move to the next question. Please ensure you like, comment and subscribe. Now let's move to the next question. Question 2 says that find the sum of the result forces along x-axis. Very, very simple. Find the sum of the result forces along x-axis. So now how are we going to solve it? Now I have two forces in this case. I have 6 Newton and I have 12 Newton, and that's also find the sum along x-axis. It's very, very simple actually. So now how are we going to solve it? Now this one is 60 degrees, here 60 degrees, right? Now if you can remember, I told you that along x-axis the resultant force is what? F is equals to what? Fx, sorry, is equals to what? F cos theta, right? Exactly. So if I want to solve this one, that's F cos theta. This one says F cos theta, right? So now to find the sum of all of them, since I have two forces, I'm going to have that. Let me just put that in this case. I'm going to have that what the EF of x is equal to what? F1 cos theta 1 plus what? Plus F2 cos what? Cos theta 2. That's the sum of everything. If I can say that this one is what? F1, I can say that this one is what? F2. Now along x-axis, this is x-axis. Now if you can remember in graph, this side is always the positive x, right? And this side is always what? The negative x, right? So now anything from this side is always what? Is negative. The f is always what? Is negative. And see, once they ask you to calculate along x-axis, it means that this side is positive. Any force along this side, whether up or down, is positive. But along this side, whether up or down, is what? Is negative. Along x-axis, but assuming it's y-axis, we'll still solve question on that. If it's y-axis, anything on top is positive, anything under is negative. But now let's solve x-axis first. I'll be sharp. So now I have EF of x equals to F1 cos theta 1. What's F1? F1 is what? 12 Newton cos what? Cos 60 degree. Now instead of plus, I put what? Minus, because F2 that is actually is minus what? F2 is what? 6 cos what? I think it is 60 also. 60. Now what is cos 60? Cos 60 is what? Is 0.5. Now I'm going to be giving you a trick on how to know all this. Now I want you to pay attention. See, some of you are having problems on how to memorize all this stuff, and it's very, very simple. So if I have these are the angles. Just pay attention. Let's say this is 0 degree, right? This is 30 degree. This is 45 degree. This is 45 degree. This is 60 degree. And this is 90 degree. I just want to hope you know how to memorize all this stuff, right? Exactly. There's a shortcut on how to know all this stuff. Once you know the first one, you've known the rest. So let's say this is sine, this is cos, and this is tan, right? So now sine 0. See, once you know sine, as soon as you know sine, you've known the rest. Trust me. If you know sine, you've known everything, and I'll give you a trick. Sine 0 is what? Is 0, right? Sine 30 is 1 over 2. Everybody knows this. Sine 45 is 1 over root 2. Everybody knows this. 1 over root 2, or what? Or root 2 over 2. That's if you rationalize. If you want to rationalize in mathematics, if I have 1 over root 2, like if I have a sword down, I multiply the both sides by this one. That will be root 2 over root 2. Right, so I'm going to have root 2 1 times 2 root 2. This one is going to go root 2 times 2 times 2. That's going to be root 2 over root 4. That will be root 2 over 2. That's how I got this. Right, exactly sharp. So sine 45 is 1 over root 2. Just take note that it's 1 over root 2. Sine 30 is root 3 over 2. While sine 90 is 1. Right? See, as soon as you've known sine, you've known the rest actually. So now this cos is the reverse of sine. Cos is the reverse of tan. So now cos 0 is 1. Cos 30 is what? Root 3 over 2. Cos what? 45 is still the same thing. I mean, because I'm going this way. Cos 45 is what? 1 over root 2. Or what? Or root 2 over 2. Right? Cos 60, I'm going like this. So cos 60 is what? 1 over 2. While cos 99 is 0. As you can see, this one is the reverse of this one. 1, this one, this one, this one, and 0. So now, how will I get tan? How will I get tan? To get tan, the numerator of sine over the numerator of cos will give you your answer for tan. So in this case, I have this one will be 0. 0 over 1 is 0. So in this case, and I have the numerator here is 1, and the numerator here is root 3. So that is going to be 1 over root 3. Right? Exactly. Now the numerator here over the numerator here. So I have 1 over 1. Or if I use this one, root 2 over root 2. Root 2 cancel root 2, that's still 1. So my answer here is 1. Right? So in this case, I have root 3 over root 1. That's the numerator over the numerator. So root 3 over root 1 is what? Root 3. Right? Answer here is root 3. So now 1 over 0, anything over 0 is what? Undefined. So the answer here is what? Infinity. So now these are the special angles that you must know as a science student. If not, the JAM will give you problem, because the calculator in JAM is not scientific calculator. Trust me. So now let's solve question. I have 12 cos 60 plus 6 cos minus 6 cos 60. So that's going to be equals to 12 cos 60 is what? Is 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 minus 6 cos 60 is what? Times 1 over 2. Right, so 2 here 1, 2 here 6. So I'm going to have 6 minus 2 here 1, 2 here 3. 6 minus 3. So my answer is what? 3 Newton. So the result first along x-axis is what? 3 Newton. I won't be cleaning this. We'll be using it from now because we'll be solving questions like thief. Now let's move to the next question. Please like, comment, and share. Don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe. Let's move to the next question. Find the sum of the result forces along x-axis. See x-axis, so it's very, very simple. So I'm going to say I have 3 forces here. This is going to be F1, this will be what? F2, this will be what? F3. Right, so I'm going to have the F horizontal force F is going to be equals to what? That's Fx is going to be equals to F1 what? It's going to be equals to F1 cos what? Cos theta 1 plus what? F2 cos theta 2 plus what? F3 cos what? Theta 3. Now as you can see, I have what? I have 12 Newton, that's F1 is acting horizontally. So the angle of F1 is 0 because it's horizontal. As you can see, it's just straight down. It does not have any angle. It's not inclined. Like this is the horizontal line. The angle of F1 to the horizontal line is 0 because it's on the horizontal line. So for F2, the angle of F2 to the horizontal is 30 degrees, right? The angle of F2 to the horizontal is 30 degrees. Write the angle of F3 to the horizontal. I have 30 here. That will be 30 plus 30. That's the angle from here to the horizontal. It's not 30 from here to the horizontal. This is the horizontal line. From here to the horizontal, that's going to be 60 degrees. I hope you grab. So don't let this confuse you. So now this is a positive x-axis, and this side here is a positive. Is negative x-axis. This is the positive x-axis. This is negative x-axis, right? So I'm now going to have what's F1? F1 is 12 cos what? Cos 0 degree, right? Plus F2 is what? 6 root 3 cos what? Cos 30 degree. From here to here is 30 degree, right? Cos 30 degree plus F3. This is F3. That's 14 cos what? Cos 60 degree, right? So cos 0 is 1. Cos 0 is 1. So I'm going to have 12 times 1. 12 times 1. That will be 12 times 1. That's 6 over. I don't write for some people. Plus 6 root 3 cos 30. Cos 30 is what? Cos 30 is what? Root 3 over 2. That will be what? Times root 3 over 2. So plus what? 14 cos what? Cos 60 is what? Cos 60 is 1 over 2. That will be what? Times 1 over 2. I hope you got exactly. So I'm going to have 2 here 1, 2 here 3. So 2 here 1, 2 in 6 is what? Is 3. 2 here 1, 2 in 14 is 7. Right? So now root 3 times root 3. So listen, root 3 times root 3 is what? Is 3. So and see root 3 times root 3 is 3. See if I have root 3 times root 3, it means we have 3 times 3, that will be 12 of 9. That would be what? 3. So 3 times 3 is 3 times this 3 outside, that's 9, right? So I'm going to have 12 plus what? 9. 12 plus 9 plus 7. So 12 plus 9 plus 7. 12 plus 9 is what? Is 21. 21 plus 7. That's going to be what? 28 Newton. All this is clear. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel for more, because I'll make more videos. Now let's move to the next question. So in the next question, they ask us to find the sum of the resolved forces along y-axis. Now this one is y-axis. Now for y-axis, I tell you that F is Fy is equals to what? F sin theta, right? I gave you the formula. I derived it for you actually. So now in this case, I have first one, I have F1, I have F2, and I have F3. Now this is the vertical axis. Now that's just calculated along y-axis, right? I told you that for y, the upper side is the positive. This is going to be plus y, and the downside is the what? Minus y. In graph, you should know that, right? So now, if I'm driving along y-axis, everything down is negative, everything up is positive, right? So now I'm going to have Fy, or summation Fy is equals to F1 sin theta 1 plus what? F2 sin theta 2 plus F3 sin theta 3. Right, so now F1 in this case is 8 Newton. That's going to be 8 Newton. That's going to be 8 times what? 8 sin what? Sin 30 degree plus what? F2 is 10 Newton. That will be 10 sin 30 degree. Now since it is down, it's now going to go minus 3. That will be minus 3 sin what? Now, what angle is this? This is what? Angle 90. Angle 90. If I say like this, angle 90, angle 90. So this will be what? 90 degree. 90 degree. I hope you grab. That is very, very simple. So now, sin 30 is 1 over 2. So that's going to be equals to 8 times 1 over 2 plus 10 times 1 over 2 minus 3 times sin 90 is what? 1. Right, so 2 here 1, 2 here 4, 2 here 1, 2 here 5. So I'm going to have 4 plus 5 minus 3. That's going to be 4 plus 5 is what? 9. 9 minus 3. That's going to be what? 6 Newton. You can see how simple all these questions are. Vector is the most simple question in physics. As long as I'm concerned, it's very, very simple. Now let's move to the next question. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you've not done that. Please do that now. We've come a long way. Let's move on. Let's move to the next question real quick. It's getting dark, so let's solve as much question as we can. So now number 5 question says that the resultant of two forces is 50 Newton. Now they give us the resultant, smart people. If the forces are perpendicular to each other and one of them makes an angle of 30 degrees with the resultant, find its magnitude. So that's not to find the magnitude of the one that makes an angle of 30 degrees with the resultant. So now let's understand the question. Let's sketch out a diagram. So we have something like this, right? Let's say this is F1 and let's say this is F2 and this is the resultant as usual. This is the resultant, right? So now they said that one of the forces make an angle of 30 degrees with the resultant. If you read the question, you see it. That will be 30 degrees, right? And they told us that the resultant of the forces is what? 50 Newton. So they asked us to find the what? To find the magnitude of the other force or the force that make the angle of 30 with the what? With the resultant. Now, how are we going to solve this? It's very, 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 very easy. So I've given you a formula. So see, I want to listen. I can use SOCAL. So now I told you that if here is F2, this side is going to be what? F2, right? If here is F1, this side is going to be what? F1, right? So if I use SOHCAHTOA, if I use SOHCAHTOA, this is the opposite. I don't need F2, I need F1. So this is the adjacent, right? So I need adjacent and hypotenuse. So adjacent, that's of cos theta. So I'm going to have that cos theta is equal to what? Adjacent over what? Hypotenuse. Right? So now, what are cos theta? Cos theta is what? That will be what? Cos 30 degree is equal to what our adjacent? F1 over R is what? 50. I cross multiply. F1 is equals to 50 times cos 30 is root 3 over 2. Cos 30 is root 3 over 2. Root 3 over 2. 2 here 1, 2 here 25. So F1 is going to be equals to 25 root 3. So this is my answer, right? This is my answer. If your answer is going to be left in short, this is your answer. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Like, subscribe, and comment. If you have any problem with any question that I've solved so far, let me know. Now let's move to the next question. No time. So now let's move to the next question. We have question 6 and question 7. Let's quickly solve question 7. It says that the resultant of two forces acting on an object is maximum if the angle between them is, I've given you this one, is maximum. I told you that if two forces are acting in the same direction, the resultant will be maximum. If they're acting in what opposite direction, the resultant will be minimum. So the answer in this case was 0 degree, right? The answer is 0 degree. So now let's move to question 6. The diagram below shows what? Oh, I never even draw the diagram. Well, let me see the diagram. The diagram below, we have 6 Newton and 8 Newton. So we have something like this. This is 6 Newton and this is 8 Newton, right? So they say that the diagram below shows two vectors at right angle to each other. Calculate the resultant. That's the resultant force, right? I've given you the according to Pythagorean triplet 6, 8, 10. I gave you 6, 8, 10. So automatically our answer is what? Is 10. But if you want us to solve it, we will just say r square is equals to 6 square plus 8 square. That's going to be r square is equals to 6 square is what? 6 times 6 is 36 plus 8 times 8 is 64. That would be r square is equals to 100. R is equals to square root of 100. That is what? 10 Newton. All this is clear. Now let's move to the next question. Please like this video. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you like the video. It's very, very important. Now let's go to the next question. So question 8. Let's say we should find the net horizontal force in the diagram below. Horizontal force, that's along x-axis. So I told you that in x-axis, everything at this side is positive. This is plus x, right? And this is what? Minus x. Yeah, everything up or down, anything on this side is plus, everything on this side is minus. So the net horizontal force. So as usual, EF of x, if I say this is what, I can say that this is F1, this is F2, this is F3, and this is F4. You can label it anyhow you want. So EF of x is going to be equals to what? F1, since it's horizontal, is cos now. That's going to be F1 cos theta 1 plus F2 cos theta 2 plus what? How many cos? 1, 2, 3, 4 plus what? F3 cos theta 3 plus F4 cos theta 4. Right? As simple as that. So now let's solve. So that's going to be equals to, what's our F1? F1 is 6. We have cos theta cos 60 plus F2 is 10. As you can see, it's in a straight line to the horizontal, so it's 0 degree. You can see the force is acting horizontally, so that's 0. That will be 10 cos 0 degree, right? Plus F3 F3 is 8 Newton. That will be 8 cos 60. 8 cos 60. Now, this side is at this side, so it's minus now. So it's minus. Right, so that will be minus 4. You change the plus to minus, that will be minus 4 cos what? See, it's at this side. You see, it's horizontal with 2. Horizontal, so it's 0 degree. That will be what? Cos 0 degree. I hope you grab. You can see that this side is horizontal, this side is horizontal. It's not at any, it's not even at any angle. So it is 0 degree. So cos 60 is 1 over 2. You can check it there. That will be 6 times 1 over 2 plus 10. Cos 0 is 1. You can check it. 10 times 1 plus 8 times 1 over 2 minus 4 times 1. 2 here 1, 2 here 4, 2 in 8 is 4, 2 here 1, 2 in 6 is 3. Right? Exactly. So I'm not going to have 3 plus 10 plus 4 minus 4. So 4 minus 4 is 0. So my answer here is what? 13 Newton. So my answer here is what? 13 Newton. I hope this is clear. Please, if you followed us this far and you've not liked and subscribe, my content will judge you. Please, share this with your friends. I know you are learning. I know it's educative. So now let's solve more questions. Yes, let's solve more questions. On any question, please make sure you've liked and subscribed. So now they say find the resultant force in the diagram shown. You have to find the resultant force in the diagram shown. The resultant force, so it means that I'll find the x-axis, the force along the x-axis, and the result along the y-axis, and then I find the resultant. If you can remember, I give you a formula that resultant is equals to what? Square root of what? EF of x squared plus EF of y. So I have to find EF of x and I find EF of y. So I should start with what? Along the x-axis. So I'll solve along x-axis first. So along x-axis, I'm going to have, I've labeled it already, F1, F2, F3, and F4. Right? So that's going to be, I know that in x-axis, everything on this side is positive. Everything on this side is what? Is negative. So I'm going to have EF of x is going to be equals to F1 cos theta 1 plus F2 cos theta 2. Since x-axis is cos now, plus F3 cos theta 3 plus F4 cos theta 4. Right? Exactly. So now, so let's continue. So F1 here is what? Is 3. So I'm going to have 3 cos theta is what? Theta is horizontal, so it's 0. Plus F2, everywhere is getting that, so I need to rush. Please don't be offended, I know you understand it. So F2 is what? 10 cos what? Cos 60, cos 30, sorry, cos 30 degree, plus F3, this F3, that's 3 with 3. That will be 3 with 3. Now as you can see, the angle from here to here is 90 degree. Angle to here is 90 degree. Okay, so that will be what? 3 with 3 cos what? Cos 90 degree. Then since it's at this side, everything at this side is what? Is negative for x. That will be minus 6 cos 60 minus 6 cos 60 cos 60 degree sharp. So cos 0 is what? Is 1. And cos 0 is 1. So I have 3 times 1 plus 10 times cos 30 is what? 3 over 2. You can check it to confirm. Plus 3 with 2 cos 90. Cos 90 is 0. So 3 with 2 times 0 is 0. So it's out. So I can remove it out. Now I'll have minus 6 cos 6. Minus 6 cos 60. That will be minus 6 cos 60 is what? 1 over 2. 1 over 2. So 2 here 1, 2 here 3, 2 here 1, 2 here 5. So I'm going to have what? 3 plus what? 5 with 3. 5 with 3. 5 times root 3 is 5 with 3. Take note of that. That will be 3 plus 5 with 3 minus 3 times 1. That will be minus 3. Right? So 3 minus 3 will cancel out. So I'm going to have equals to what? 5 root 3. So my EF of x is what? 5 root 3. I'm not done, no. I'm not done. I just found EF of x, so I have to go and find EF of y. So EF of y is sine. Sine. How to graph. So EF of y is equals to f1 sine theta 1 plus f2 sine theta 2 plus f3 sine theta 3 plus f4 sine theta 4. How to graph? Exactly. So now let's solve. Let's that. So what's f1? Now since it is y-axis, everything on top is positive, everything under is negative. So f4 here also is still negative. So that's good. So I'm just going to have, I'll write the same thing. I'll just change the cos to sine, or I'll just use here. So I'm going to have f1 is 3. That will be 3 times 0 sine 0 plus 10 sine what? Sine 30 plus 10 sine 30 plus what? Plus 3 root 3 sine what? Sine 90. Sine 90. This one is down, so it's minus. This is minus y axis. Anything down is minus y axis. Anything up is plus y axis. So that will be minus 6 sine what? Sine 60 sharp. So let's solve. Sine 0 is 0. So everything here is out because 3 times 0 is 0. So let's remove it. So I'm going to have 10 sine 1 sine 10. That will be 10 times 1 over 2, right? Plus sine 90 is 1. So that will be 3 with 3 plus times 1. That will be 3 with 3, right? That's 3 with 3. Plus, is it plus or minus? So it's minus now. Minus 6 times what? Root 60 is what? Is root 3 over 2. So 2 here 1, 2 here what? 3. So I'm going to have 2 here 1, 2 here what? 5. So I'm going to have what? 5 plus, I hope you guys are following. That will be 5 plus 3 root 3 minus 3 times 3, that will be 3 root 3. So root 3 root 3 cancel 3 root 3. So I'm going to have what? 5 meters. So EF of y is 5 meters. I'm not done. I'm not done. I found what? EF of x. I've looked for what? EF of y. So I'm not going to find what? R. So that's all. So after I find what? R, I'll just impute all this in the formula and I'll get my answer. Let's continue. So I have what? R is equals to square root of EF of x squared plus EF of y squared. That's summation of forces in the x-axis plus summation of forces in the y-axis. So EF of x is what? 5 root 3. So I'm going to have R is equals to square root of 5 root 3 all squared plus what? EF of y is what? 5 squared. So now 5 squared is what? Is 25. Right? We will think now this thing is not saying 3 times 3 all squared. Right? Sorry, 5 times 3 all squared. So 5 squared is 25. So square of 3 is what? This square will cancel the square. That was times 3. So 23 times 3 is what I will get. So 23 times 3, that is 75. So I'm going to have 75 plus 5 squared is what? 25. So I'm going to have square root of 75. See, square of 5 is 25. Square of 5, square will cancel. Square of 3, square will cancel root. So I'm going to have 25 times what? Times 3. That was 75. So 75. So square of this one is 25. So 75 plus 25 should be 100. So I'm going to have r is equal to this. So r is equal to 100. So r is now going to equal to 10 Newton. And see, it is simple. I hope you understand everything I did. If you don't understand, if you go back and watch, please don't forget to what? Like, comment, and share. Subscribe. Subscribe is very, very important. Subscribe. Now let's move to the next. Our final question. Our final question for this section. Our final question. I saw a question. I think it's one of the videos I saw in the last. I posted a video on the taking the light. I posted a video on vector they brought the light. So I posted a video on vectors, and now that some of you are coming with something like this, all this stuff. I've done something like that. Check my videos. I've done something like that. So watch one of the videos. Search for calculation of vectors or look for calculation of vectors and watch the last video I did there. I explained something like this. So I don't have time. Everybody is getting that. I just want to solve one more question and then I end this class. Hope you guys are learning. So now let's solve the last question. This is our last question for this segment. So now this question here says that two forces each of magnitude 16 Newton, two forces, and the two forces have 16 Newton each, right, are inclined to each other at an angle of 60 degrees. They are inclined to each other at an angle of 60 degrees. Calculate the magnitude of their resultant. Now, I told you that in case 4 that I gave to you, I told you that if the angle between two forces is less than 90 degrees, I told you that this is the formula you use to find the resultant. If you can remember, I told you that you use what? R is equals to square root of f1 square plus what? Plus f2 square, right? Plus what? 2f1 f2 cos what? Cos theta, right? I give you this formula. So now in this case, f1 and f2 are both what? 16 Newton. It is said that each of them has 16 Newton. So I can just say that R is equal to square root of, this is my marker in, let me change it. So I can just say that f1, I'm not going to have 16 square plus 16 square, right? 16 square plus 16 square plus 2 times 16 times 16 cos what? Cos 60 degrees. Cos 60 degrees, and cos 60 is 1 over 2. It's 1 over 2. So 16 times 16. What's 16 times 16? That's 16 square. 16 square is what? 16 square is 256. 256 plus 256. That's 512. So I'm going to have square root of 512 plus 2 times 16. So 2 times 16 times, this should be 16, sorry. F1 is 16 and F2 is 16. So it's going to be 2 times 16 times 16. So 2 times 16, 2 times 16 times 16 is what? Is 512. So as I was saying, 2 times 16 times 16 is what? 512. So 512 cos 60 is 1 over 2. That will be times 1 over 2. 2 here 1. 2 in 512. It's going to be 512 divided by 2. That's 256. I'll have 256 here. So I'm not going to have square root of 512 plus 256. 512 plus 256 is what? 768. So square root of 768 is going to give us, because of the square root of 768 is going to give us what? 16 with 3. 16 with 3. So this is our final answer. 16 with 3 Newton. So I hope this is clear, and with these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to show you that calculations on vectors are will be very simple. I'll be able to show you that calculations of vectors are very simple. So now, this is your assignment. I'm giving you this one as an assignment. So try this out. Find the sum of the components of the forces along the x-axis. So that's to find the sum of the components along the x-axis. Now, instead of them to give you the angle from here to here, you give it inside. So you can use this one to find this one. You need this angle and not this one that you give to you. And you should know that from here to here is 90. So if here is 30 degrees, it means that this side is 90 minus 30. Same thing goes to this side. So I want you to solve this and drop your answer in the comment section. So if you've been following so far, make sure you've liked, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and share this video with your friends. And lest I forget, our main class, our 2026 UTME class has started already, and the registration fee is just for 6,000 naira. Send a DM to the number on the flyer to join, or just comment I am interested. I'll send you my phone number. Thank you. God bless you. Good luck.